So, well, the lecture 2, the new topic is the Buddha, and the continuation of the study about the Buddha, founder of Buddhism. Now, today we focus on the study of the Jataka literature. Jataka means life. Actually, it indicates stories of the Buddha's former lives. Yeah, as we studied last week, in Indian religion, they have a worldview that everybody repeats death and rebirth, the cycle of reincarnation. Yeah. The Buddha, Siddhartha, is not an exception. He also, repeated death and rebirth many times. He experienced many thousands of death and rebirth. And in every of his life, he did many good things and gradually made progress in his religious training. And finally, when he was born as Siddhartha in about the 5th century BCE, he was able to attain enlightenment as a result of that. Yes. And yes, this story, the Jataka, the text, the Jataka preserves, contains the story of the Buddha's what he did in his past lives. It's a stories of good things that the Buddha did in his past lives, and provides some sort of moral standard or moral guideline to Buddhist followers. Well, but before that, I'm happy if you remember it. This is the Buddha. Last week we see one of the oldest example of the Buddhist statue. Well, before studying the contents of the Jataka stories, so let's see some animation of the Jataka stories made for kids. By the way, do you know the Jataka? No, this is okay. So let's see. So let's go back to PowerPoint, slide number 3. The Pali Jataka is the old, nowadays, we can say roughly 2 versions of the Jataka stories are available to us. The Pali version and the Sanskrit version. Yeah, Sanskrit version was translated into Chinese, so we can also use some kanji Chinese or classic Chinese versions. The Pali Jataka is the older version. It consists of 547 stories. And it's a collection, as I said, of allegorical or fable stories of former lives of the Buddha, and contains moral teachings, both religious and practical morals. Here, practical morals means a moral that is useful to make your life happy or to make your life successful. Okay. And they are taught both for monks, nuns, and laymen. And the significance of the Pali Jataka stories can be summarized in this way. This is my summary. Well, it gives many messages, many advices, but they can summarize into these 3 groups. The first is they show the greatness of the Buddha. The Buddha did many good things in his past life, so the Buddha is great. So follow him, something like that. Have faith in him. 2, they teach how to live rightly. Yes, actually, in fact, it gives you many moral teachings. And the 3rd, the Buddha in his former lives is a model of the Bodhisattva in Mahayana. Bodhisattva in this context means a practitioner in Mahayana Buddhism. Practitioner especially attaches great importance to saving others. Yes. Yeah, Bodhisattva is defined in this way in Mahayana text. Actually, in his past life, the Buddha saved many people and many creatures. In the same way, Bodhisattvas, the Mahayana practitioners, should save many other people in every of his life, of one's life. Well, any question up to here? Any question up to here? Nothing in particular. So, well, now I believe that we can answer to the first question. Please see question sheet 1. I'm sorry, it's too easy. It's very easy. What are the Pali Jatakas and what is the historical significance? Well, okay. Are you finished? Anybody who want to answer to this question? Anyway, it's too easy. Maybe you are a native speaker of English.
Yes.
Yes. So for native people, it's a very easy question, maybe. But for non-native, not always easy. So please be patient sometimes. Anyway, well, anybody who want to answer this question? Yeah.
You want to answer the question?
Answer? No. Okay. So you please. Yeah.
They are stories of Buddhist former's life that teaches morals based upon the uses of storytellings.
Yeah. Perfect. Do you want to add some new aspects? Did you notice something new about the Pali Jataka? Notice anything new? No. Okay, don't necessarily. You don't have to find any new things. Okay, yeah, right, great. Something like that. Okay, yeah, the answer is something like this. Well, so let's move on to the next slide, slide number 4, the Jataka Model. This is the main text that we use in today's class. It's a Mahayana version of the Jataka stories. The Jataka Model. So, okay, let's pronounce together the Jataka Model, please. Yeah, I told you how to pronounce it. Yes, again, Jataka Model. Thank you. Jataka is the Buddha's former lives, and Mara is garland. Okay? So it's a text consisting of 34 Jataka stories, teaching especially religious morals, not practical moral, but focus on religious morals. So this text is more religious than Pali Jatakas, and which was selected from the original 547 Pali Jataka stories, and were rewritten in Sanskrit by Arya Shura. He is a Mahayana scholarly monk, meaning holy hero, and perhaps, who was active in the 5th century CE. Wow. Yes, it contains 34 former stories of the former lives of the Buddha. But quite interestingly, if you analyze and investigate the social status of the Buddha in his past lives, we are able to notice one interesting thing. Every time he was born in something socially higher person. And also, every time he was born as a male. Oh, it's quite interesting. For example, in some stories, he was born as a man of high varna. Varna means caste or social systems, caste. Like Brahmin, the top people of the caste system, or king, kshatriya, renouncer, monks, or some celestial beings, a being living in heaven, God, in other words. And also, sometimes he was born as a millionaire, very rich man, especially a rich trader. And maybe these reflect their importance, their social importance position in ancient age. Yeah?
I don't like it.
I don't like it. But yeah.
Yeah, it seems like for the Buddha to teach his morals and stories to these people, he has to become a person of money and importance for people to listen to him, which doesn't seem very Buddha-like to me.
I see.
Because he's always on top and looking down, but he's never down and looking up.
I see. Yeah, but sometimes, it's possible to say that he was sometimes down. Yeah, in some stories he was born as a beast. But he's
also the king of beasts.
King of beasts, or some moral beast. Yeah, but never lower human.
Right.
Never lower human or never female. Yeah, you're right.
He wouldn't be a normal monkey or a normal human, which makes it.
Well, but once he was born as a buffalo. Yeah, in India, buffalo is a very evil animal. One of the evilest animals in Indian religion, buffalo. He was born only once. But he was even at that time, he was a very moral buffalo. He's a very good buffalo. Yes. Anyway, This is probably a reflection of some social conditions in ancient age. Yes, king, Brahmin, renouncers, or rich traders, they are important people in ancient age. So, maybe it's a result of that. Anyway, he was born, yes. Also was born as a beast. This is probably because the main characters in many original local allegories were beasts. The scholars imagine that there are many original local stories of the Jataka stories, many local allegories. And in many of them, the main characters were probably beasts or animals. So because they incorporated that, as a result of that, sometimes the Buddha was described as being born as a beast. But as you said, every time, the beast was often a beast kings. Anyway, and most beast allegory teach even a beast can conduct rightly. So why cannot a human who has more ability than beast cannot do that and encourage human to do good things? Well, anyway, please see this chart, slide number 5. This is a list of the social statuses that the Buddha was born in his past lives according to the Jataka Model. He was born as a Brahmin 3 times, Brahmin who became a renouncer twice. Yes. So in total, Brahmin or renouncer, 7 in total. Or human kings 8. Fish king, swan king, monkey king, deer king, beast king 4 times, and he was born as some king of some creatures 12 times. And a millionaire or probably rich trader 4 times. And he was once born as a ship master, and probably he is a rich citizen, because if he is not rich, he cannot have a ship. And also he was born twice as a god Indra, man dwelling in Brahman's heaven, celestial being 3 times. And also hare, quail, monkey, sharaba, it's an imaginary animal, not actually existing on the earth. Elephant, buffalo, woodpecker, they are all moral beasts. And quite interesting, they are all males. And this is definitely a reflection of male dominance in ancient age. Any question up to here? Any claim?
Oh, you know what I do have?
Yes.
Do you think that because the male dominance in the ancient age is so heavily influenced by the money and status and like your gender, that's the reason why he is so rich in all these stories, but perhaps like they have to tell the stories like this so other people can listen. So perhaps he uses like these stories as a status, like to also be like, I am still better than you, so you should listen to me.
Yeah. There might have been some sort of something like this. Maybe. Wow. Wow. If he were,
like maybe he's saying like I'm like in all my past lives, even now I'm educated, I have money, and I'm a male, so you should listen to the things that I teach you.
I see. Well, but not necessarily connected with money. This is actually, in fact, definitely in ancient age, it's a male-dominant age. In that age, if the teacher is a woman, no one listens to her. No one listens to her. So the teacher must be male. But sometimes, not necessarily connected with money, but Anyway. But what you said is partially I think what you said is right. As an aspect of it. Maybe. Anyway. Any other question? Yes, I have to add one. I have to give you one comment. This is not what the Buddha himself said. Yes, what the Buddha himself taught did not survive. all Buddhist material that is available to us now are all created, all composed by his successors. This Jataka, as I said to you, this Jataka Model was composed in around the 5th century CE, made by some Mahayana scholarly monks. He was born in some rich, high, noble family. Yeah, so it is not so strange that he edited such this kind of stories. Anyway. Any else? Anything else? Anything others? No. Anyway, so let's. Do you have anything you want to say?
I would like to ask one question.
Yes.
In the
Jataka Model. Yeah.
The social status of the Buddha in formal life is explained by beasts, and the one reason is the most beast allegory speech. Even the beast can conduct the life rightly, so why cannot human do that? Yeah. So in the Buddhism or ancient Indian thought, the hierarchy of beasts maybe low classes. Just like that. Is a hierarchy of beasts. Is low classes in the Buddhism or ancient Indian values. Yeah. So I wonder the social status of the Buddha in formal lives is explained by beasts. Because in Buddhism, Buddha is a saint, but so the social status of the Buddha is explained beasts, and this one of the reasons is if one beast can conduct life. This sentence is might look down on beasts. So I wonder why.
Why? Well, in Indian religion in general, in ancient age, as you say, animals or beasts are regarded as lower than humans. Yes. But in this text, Buddha was in fact born as a beast in his past lives, but those beasts are always king or some moral beasts, rather exceptional. They are exceptional beasts. Well, so how should I say? In Indian religion in general, animals are regarded as lower than humans. But here, Buddha in his past lives, born as a beast, they are exceptional beasts, something like that. Exceptional. Yeah, it's simply because, as I wrote here, the origin, the source of Jataka stories and some local allegorical stories, and many of which main characters are probably beasts. So that's the reason why Buddha was described as being born as a beast in sometimes. Yeah, but in this, it is reconstructed in a Buddhist way. Those beasts are kings or some very moral beings when they are Buddha in his past life. So they are some exceptional case. Oh, you look having some.
I was just reading it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Religious morals in the Jataka Model. Slide number 6. Yes, 6 is okay. Yes, 6. Okay. Yeah, religious morals in the Jataka Model. Yes. Yeah, it gives many advices, many forms of advice, but we can summarize these in this way: to have faith in the Buddha, because Buddha did so many good things in his past life. He is great, so you must be a follower of him. And the next, to have right view, and we will study about right view next week. Right view, this rightness is, of course, from the Buddhist viewpoint, of course. Right view, and stop being attached excessively to worldly matters out of desire for them. Like, I want to get so much money. I want to promote in my position in my company. Or I want to get married with some beautiful girl or something like that. Yes. You should renounce such sort of desires for worldly matters. And also, the text tells you should be compassionate to others, almsgiving or charity to renouncers. You know the word almsgiving? Oh, hi, great. You know? Great. Well, why do you know it? It's a very technical term, almsgiving. Okay. Anyway, you know it. It's meaning charity, synonym. Good Brahmins and the poor. And if you are a king, you must rule compassionately. You give donation to renouncers and good Brahmins, priests, and do welfare of your people. Yes. So if you are a king, you must be a compassionate ruler and give protection to your people, or something like yes. And the text also require you to respect practitioners, bodhisattvas, doing these mentioned above. Well, in the Jataka Model, some stories of the Jataka Model, Indra again appeared that we studied last week, king of gods. Originally, he is a god of Brahmanism, but in Buddhism, he often serves as a protector of Buddhism. Anyway. Any question up to here? Objection? Do you have many things?
Yeah. It looks like for most of the texts, it seems like even though Buddha is teaching these things, he's still following a hierarchy. He's still like, you're aware of the caste system in India? That's based on Hinduism. But here, even in Buddhism, there seems to be a hierarchy, and it's still enforced. Even though he says to be compassionate to other people, it seems like he's still enforcing that there is somebody above you to do better.
Something above you.
Yeah. So it seems like to respect
I see.
practitioners, like give money to them. Like it seems like they are to be of a higher status than kings. And if you are the king, you have to still respect them. And if you're just the poor people, you have to follow your king and the Buddha. So it seems like there's still a hierarchy, despite the teachings of Buddha.
Yes, you are perfectly right. In fact, in ancient Buddhism, they surely have an image of such sort of hierarchy. Buddha is the top of the religious world, and the king is the top of the mundane, worldly, this world. And also, yes, there are many priests and renouncers working for religious good things, working for religions. And the lower, ordinary people, lay followers, should follow them. Yes, be compassionate to others. Yeah, definitely. But that hierarchy is different from the Hindu caste system. Slightly different. Well, so what is the difference? Yes.
I still feel like it still has the same type of ideas, maybe same types of things for reincarnation, like in the caste system in India. You have to do good things to other people, like you have to be compassionate, you have to give, you have to do all this in your life now, so that when you reincarnate, you go to a better life, and then a better life, and then a better life. Just like how Buddha was born, continuously doing good things, and that's why. And the one why he became Buddha because he did so many good things. I still feel like it's a lot of. It's not like the caste system, but it still has similar themes running both sides.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, they have this idea in common with Hinduism. Yeah, in fact, in this sense, Buddhism is not a perfect egalitarian religion in this sense. Yet actually, renouncers are higher than laymen, and the Buddha is the top of them. Yes. But what is so different from ancient Brahmanism? Everybody has a chance to become a renouncer. Yes, every man, regardless of one's sex or one's family, everybody can become a renouncer. So it is more open to everyone compared to Brahmanism. In Brahmanism, if you want to become a renouncer, you must be born in the family of Brahmin, Kshatriya, or Vaishya at the lowest. If you are born in a Shudra family, or if you are born as a female, you cannot become a renouncer in ancient Brahmanism. But in Buddhism, it is open to everyone, at least in theory. So in this sense, slightly more open. But still hierarchical. Yeah, you're right. Any others? No? Yeah. Thank you. Good indication. Quite important. That's from a sociological viewpoint. Okay, so let's move on to the content of the Jataka stories. Slide number 7. Yes, we use a text, Sanskrit text, edited by Professor Vaidya, 1959, but you don't have to have knowledge of Sanskrit. By the way, are you able to describe this painting? Are you able to analyze it? Maybe. Yeah, you know it. Great. Please explain it. Why you laugh?
I don't know how to explain it. It looks like people are falling off a cliff below for a tiger to eat them.
Yeah.
Perhaps maybe the story of the female tiger.
Yeah, something like this. You know this story?
Not really, but there's hints of it. You know, Journey to the West?
Mm-hmm.
There's hints of stories of the Jataka Model in the Journey to the West.
Mm-hmm. I see, Journey to the West. I see. Great, you're right. Thank you. Yusuke. Do you know this story? Yeah, maybe you studied in a Japanese high school. Maybe in a high school, maybe you learned. Maybe, but I'm not certain. This is preserved in Horyuji, you know? Horyuji, a Buddhist temple in Kyoto. Okay. Yes, this describes one story of the Buddha in his past life. This is the Buddha in his past life. Yes, he found a hungry female tiger. And because of the hunger, she is about to eat her baby tigers. Yeah. So find it, the Buddha jumped from the top of the cliff and died and became a food of the hungry female tiger. Thanks to the Buddha's self-sacrifice, compassionate self-sacrifice, the hungry female tiger ate him and be released from the hunger. And thanks to that, her baby tigers were released from the fate of being eaten by their mother. Yes. This is described more in detail in the next slide, slide number 8 and 9. This is a painting from some different book. Yeah. Okay, so let's read. Okay, Yusuke, please read it out. Read it out. Thank you very much. Yes, marvelous, compassionate self-sacrifice. And in the Jataka stories, a message is given at the end of every story. At the end of this story, these 4 messages are given. This is a literal translation of the original Sanskrit sentences. we should have faith in the Buddha who took others' suffering as his own suffering. Then, yeah, in fact. Second, we should love the Buddha. By loving him, our faith in him will be firm. Third, we should learn the teaching of the Buddha, for the teachings came out of his marvelous practice that are hard for everyone to do. Yes, sacrificing his body, his life to others is a practice that is hard for everyone to do, in fact. And the fourth, he should recite this story, chant this story. When we praise compassion and preach that the compassion is the cause for the acts that benefits others. More natural English is compassion benefits others. Yeah. Well, do you have any comment, opinion, or objection to this Vyaguhri female tiger Jataka? Oh, let's pronounce once Vyaguhri Jataka. Thank you very much. Yusuke, did you know it? You have some memory of it?
Oh, I cannot remember the story.
Okay. No problem. Okay. Thank you. Well, please don't confuse. The text never say that you must also sacrifice your life in order to save others from hunger. You don't have to do that. Yeah, there's no such messages in this part. It just says, yes, respect the Buddha, love the Buddha, learn the teaching of the Buddha, and also, yes, recite this story when you praise compassion and so on. Yes. You don't have to sacrifice your life to save others. Anyway, so let's move on to the next story, slide number 10, the Shasha Jataka. Shasha means hare or rabbit. So let's pronounce together Shasha Jataka, please. Thank you. It's a Jataka Model 6. Oh, JM means Jataka Model. 6 means the 6 stories. 6 stories in the Jataka Model. Okay, so please, please read it out.
The Buddha was once a hare. He had right view and knew the right way to do. He knew the merit of offering things to others, but the practice of offering was difficult for him. Put a design of the shape of the hare's body on his castle in heaven and on the surface of the moon.
Thank you very much. Yes. This story at the same time tells you why we can see the mark of a rabbit on the surface of the moon. Yes, you know. From Japan, Korea, China, and also from India, they can see a mark of rabbit on the surface of the moon. And this is the origin tale of that, the Indian version. You live in America. From America, you can see some. No.
Not in America.
Nothing is seen. Okay.
Yeah, we don't even look at the sky.
Ah, really?
Yeah, it's just normal. Just go on with your life.
Okay. Okay, thanks. A message is given at the end of the story. Even a beast can perform almsgiving, charity, according to its ability, out of its will, for good deeds. Why cannot a human who has many abilities perform almsgiving? And it never tells you that you must burn your body to save others. You don't have to burn your body. Cook your body. You don't have to cook your body. Yeah, you can do anything for others in accordance with your ability. Okay? Maybe I believe that Japanese students, Yusuke, learned it somewhere in the past. No. Don't have any memory. No memory.
Well, I know in Japan, many Japanese can saw the rabbit on the surface of the moon, and there's a difference in many cultures, but I cannot remember the story.
Okay, I am sorry. I am very sorry. Okay, good. Okay. Well. Okay, in this way, even when the Buddha was born as a beast, as a helpless hare, he was a good rabbit, and he did a performed a compassionate deed to save others. Wow. Okay, so then the slide number 12, the Vishvantara Jataka. Well, Jataka Model 9th, this narrative is quite famous in the Theravada countries, but rather a minor in Mahayana countries. And unfortunately, in this class now, there's no student from the Theravada countries. Well, today, third period, there's one student from Theravada country, but now no. Anyway. Well, okay, so please, Yusuke, read it out.
The Buddha was once a prince of a city named
Yes.
Vishvantara.
Vishvantara.
The prince with his wife and his children returned to his Shiva's kingdom and became a king.
Thank you very much. Well, in this way, the Buddha, in his past life, born as a Vishvantara prince, he was very compassionate and did a firm resolve of practicing almsgiving. Yes. He gave his important military elephant to his enemy Brahmins. And also after that, he gave his chariot with horses to Brahmins. And after that, he gave his 2 children to Brahmins. And finally, he gave his wife to Brahmin, who is Indra in his real form. Yes. But Indra, yes, he was not actually wanted his wife, but he just tested him. Yes. Impressed by that, and returned his wife and his children. And with his supernatural power, yes, he made all Shivi people welcome Vishvantara. And finally, he became a king. Happy ending. And the message is given here. At the end of this story, we should know that only a man of courage, this is the Buddha in his past life, giving a donation of wife and children. It needs much courage. Ordinary people cannot do that. Only a man of courage can do compassion and can be delighted with others' compassionate deeds. Second, we should not despise or disturb people who accepted the teaching. That what the Buddha did is really marvelous. It's really marvelous. The third, we should recite this story when we pray the Buddha and preach. Well, do you have any comment? Do you have any comment? Yeah, this is quite famous in Theravada countries nowadays. And if you access YouTube, you can find many movies in which Theravada monks explains this inner meanings from his perspective. Yeah, but in many of the movies, the Theravada monks speech using in a Thai language or Sri Lankan language, so actually only a few can understand them. Anyway. Any opinion? I would like to give you 2 comments. First, this story was composed probably in the 3rd century BCE, before the Common Era, or around that, at least in ancient age. And at that age, people did not still have the idea of human right. So, yes. And the second, see these messages. It never says that you have to give your family to others. Okay. So please see the next slide, number 15. These are sculptures from the Sanchi Stupa that we studied last week, North Gate. It describes some scene from the Vishvantara Jataka. So let's analyze together. See here, this is it's a shade. This is the starting story. Vishvantara with his wife and children live in a court palace. This is an elephant, military elephant. Now Brahmins came here and asked Vishvantara to give that military elephant. Then after that, Vishvantara with his family were expelled from the court. ride on a carriage with 4 horses. Yes, they went out of the court and went toward the forest. And on the way to a forest, a Brahmin approached him and requested him to give the horse and carriage. Then, yes, he gave it, and the Brahmin, yes, took 4 horses and carriage. Yeah. Then, this side, bottom side, then this is the scene when the Buddha in his past life with his family arrived at the forest. Now, this is a question. From now on, I ask you one question, and this is the question 3. Describe the rest of this painting. Describe the sculpture. Describe the rest of the sculpture. This part. Describe it. Analyze. Wow. Okay. Well, have you finished? So anybody who want to answer to the third question, describe this sculpture, come here and using a pointer, please explain what this scene is describing. Anybody who want to come here and explain? Describe. Oh, you do that. New, please. Great, you are brave. Just push this button.
This one?
Yes. Yes, please explain, describe it.
Okay, so forest. And then here they're still in the forest, but then the Brahmin was like, hey, let me get your kids. And he was like, yeah, sure, you can get my kids.
Yeah.
He was like, sweet. And then I think around here is where Intro was like, I'm gonna go test this man. He was like, let me get you a wife. And he was like, yeah, okay, you can have my wife. And he was like, I'm so proud of you. You can become king now.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Have you ever learned it before?
No.
This is the first time.
Yeah.
Perfect, great. Thank you very much. Yeah, applause. Great. Nice analysis. And here I give you one comment. Well, generally in Indian sculpture, females are generally depicted in the form of having big breasts. Yeah, so it's easy to distinguish woman from a man in Indian sculpture anyway. I'm sorry, but it's quite important if you want to study the Indian art. Okay, so then, do you want to answer to the second question? Yusuke, can you answer? I'm happy if you answer to the second question.
Jataka Model is constituted by many stories to teach to teach many people the religious moral in Buddhism. For example, to face in Buddha, to have right view, and to be compassionate to others, and to respect the Bodhisattvas. And etc.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, something like this. Yeah. The answer is written on this slide. Thank you so much. Okay, so finally, let's move on to the final story, slide number 16. Well, Maha Monkey, a great monkey Jataka. So please read it out. Please, slide number 16, please read it out.
The Buddha was once a monkey king who ruled monkeys in the forest, abundant with flowers, fruits, water, and so on. He was very compassionate. One day, a fruit from a banyan?
Yeah.
He was first country according to Dharma and died. He departed to heaven.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Dharma, in this context, Dharma means a Buddha's teaching. Thank you so much. And the message given at the end of the stories are, those who perform moral deeds are respected even by their enemy. Yes, and in fact, the Monkey King was respected by his enemy, Human King. Therefore, if you hope to attract others, you should observe moral conduct. If you are moral, your enemy will love you. Second, when you praise the Buddha, you should tell, although the Buddha was able to do benefits for others, people cannot do any benefits even for themselves. So Buddha is great. The third, you should recite this story when you preach, when you praise compassion, the importance of compassion, and when you teach to kings too. In the case of teaching kings, you should add, in the same way, you king must be compassionate to your people, like the Monkey King in this story. Yes. Now the sixth, finally, you should recite this story when you teach about the feeling of gratitude, adding the words, right men feel gratitude in the same way as the Monkey King felt to his monkeys. Yeah. Well, in this way, the monkey showed as kind of some ideal form of a king to a human king. Well, this is a sculpture describing the whole story. So please analyze it from the Sanchi Stupa. Please describe it. This is the final question. Question 3, final question. Please analyze this sculpture. Finished. Okay. Well, so anybody, but I hope Yusuke answered this question. Please come here and analyze the sculpture using the laser pointer. Please.
Okay. There's a king of monkey and there's a monkey and there's a soldier. Where's the king of king?
Yeah.
And the trees and
It's a cliff.
A cliff?
Opposite.
Cliff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah, almost perfect. Almost. Yay. Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, these are human kings and retainers marching to the forest to get a tasty mango fruit. A river, tasty mango fruit is flowing. And this is a monkey chief stretching his body to be a bridge to escape his monkey followers. Yes, the monkey followers, walked above him and they escaped from the top of the tree to the cliff, opposite cliff. And finally, this is the final. This describe the final scene. Monkey King and Human King, they talk with each other, and the Monkey King tells Human King that the king should be like this. Yes. After this, yes. Okay. Now, today we studied two things: the Jataka stories. And also at the same time, we learned a little about how to describe ancient Indian scripture, ancient Indian sculptures. Well, do you have any question? No, nothing in particular? Well, if you don't have any questions, so let's finish today's class.